Hey, it's video time. Welcome back. I love this. Hey, today we're going to be talking about sums and differences with decimals, but we are going to be talking about how to make sense of doing this work, understanding the place value. Now, that is definitely going to make more sense as we get going, but as always, I kind of just want to unpack what it is we're really doing today. So again, remember, if we're talking about sums, we are talking about the answer to an addition problem. If we are talking about differences, we are talking about the answer to a subtraction problem. If we are talking about decimals, we are talking about parts of things, right? So I could have a whole number like 8 and then have 35 hundredths. That's still a decimal. I could also have no whole numbers and have like 791 thousandths. That's also a decimal. So we're going to be talking about how we can add and subtract these types of things today. Thinking about place value. So let's also talk about place value, right? Place value is the location of a digit. And we know now through our work is that we have the world of whole numbers. So we have like the ones place, we have the tens place, we have the hundreds place. I don't know why I'm seeing in this. But these are our whole numbers and they keep going. And then we have our decimal. And then we get into this world of decimals, right? And decimals have their own place values. We have the tenths place. We have the hundredths place. And I will stop there. And remember, these are the THs, right? Because a tenth means we took the number one and we cut it into 10 pieces. A hundredth means we took the number one and we cut it into 100 pieces. And that's why there's actually not a once place. People actually ask that question, and I love that question. It's a great question. But we don't have once because that would mean that would mean taking one and dividing it into one piece, I still have one. So I still have my ones. But when we have a tenth, we're taking one and we're dividing it into 10 pieces and we end up with a tenth. We have 1/10, right? So if we're thinking about all these place values, that is what's going to help us today do those sums and differences. So without further ado, let's dive in and do some of this work. I, of course, am going to go to another page because we have a lot of cool stuff on here. This is my addition decimal voice. What? Okay, so let's go ahead and start today with decimal. We have 1 and 22 hundredths, and let's go ahead and add 0 and 34 hundredths. Okay, so I love steps, so let's talk about steps. So step one, we're gonna go ahead and we are going to model what this looks like, and that's with place value. I'm gonna say place value, PV. We're gonna model, and then we are going to in this case, add, right? I guess maybe we should say add or subtract based on the operation, and then we will actually then have an answer. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to model, and here's what I'm going to do in terms of modeling. This is what's actually really cool, is I'm going to make this chart here based on, let's see, we have a ones place, a tens place, and a hundreds place. Ones place, 10 place. Okay, so I have 3 place values. So I'm actually gonna go like this and make 3 sections. One of which is the ones, so it's the whole number. And then we do see here it's a decimal because the next one would be the tenths. And then we have the hundreds. So see what I did? I kind of did like a reverse place value. And now I'm going to model what that looks like. So if I start with my ones place here, my ones, I have one. So I don't know. That's maybe one big one. That's a one. Okay. Come over here. Are there any ones? No, there are not. I'm going to go to my tenths place, and there are 2. So I'm going to go 1, 2, right? I'm modeling what a tenth is. Over here, I have 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. I guess I'll make a group of 5 like that. That could work. I'm going to come to my hundredths place, and I have 1, 2, and then I have 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is actually a model of all the numbers that I put together. I have one whole, I have a total of 5 tenths between the 2 tenths and the 3 tenths, and then I have 6 hundredths. And what's great about this is look at this. Here's my answer. It's right in front of me. I'm just going to count. If I come to my hundreds place, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hundredths. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tenths. I have a decimal right here, so I'm going to put a decimal right here. And if I count my ones, I literally have one. And lo and behold, here's my answer. 1 and 22 hundredths plus 34 hundredths gets me 1 and 56 hundredths. Say what? Yep, that's right. It does really come across then that way when we really stop and model what we're doing things work. So let's try another one. All right. So again, thinking about our steps and what we're going to do, we are going to model with our place value, model with PV. We are going to then add or subtract what we're doing, and then we're going to have our answer. I'm going to keep it all in one color this time. Let's go ahead and start with it. We're going to do another addition problem, then we'll look at some subtraction. So let's say we have 63 hundredths, and I am adding 41 hundredths. Okay. So in this case, again, there's some zeros in there. So I see 1, 2, 3 place values. So I'm just going to do that. That's cool. I'm into that. We're going to go like this. It looks like I'm at ones place, but right now there's nothing there. That's okay. We have our tens place. Um, I'm sorry. Maybe we should color code this part so it makes a little more sense. So let's go back to that. I'm into that. So let's see. Right here, that's our ones place. And that's this right here. And here we have our tenths place. We do have, oh, I forgot our decimal. We have a decimal right here. And then we have, let's go green. We have our hundredths place. And yeah, I would write it out. I would make sense of it. I think often people are like trying to take shortcuts, and it's shortcuts that gets us confused, right? So like take your time, think about what's happening. Okay, so now we need to model this. So if I go to my ones, I don't have any. So I don't need to put anything in there. Tenths, on the other hand, I have 6 over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I have 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then and again, that's where I got this, in case you're wondering. 6 here, 4 here. Then I'm gonna go to my hundredths place. So I have 3. So 1, 2, 3, and one more, 1. Okay. So now we're gonna start putting this together and making sense of what we have. So if I look at this number and I go to my hundredths place, I see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 hundredths. If I come over to my tenths place, I see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Oh, wait a minute. I have 10. 10. I can't put 10 in there, right? That's not a digit, that's a number, and I need a digit in the tens place. So that takes me back to that concept of remembering that my job now is to think about how I could regroup with groups of 10. Because if I do have 10 here, and this is 10 right here, what that tells me is 10 tenths actually ends up equaling a 1, right? We've been talking about 10 tenths is equal to 1. So then if I come back over here to my tenths place and I look, well, I moved all these over. I took all of these because it's a group of 10 and I brought it over, which means I actually have 0 tenths now because look, there's nothing else. And then if I come to my ones place, I end up with a 1, and then I have this decimal that goes zoop, and there's my answer. I end up with 1 and 4 hundredths. Right? Okay, so I hope this is starting to click. Let's dive into maybe what it would look like with subtraction, thinking about this, because it is a little bit different. So hopefully you're not like, oh, I got it, and I'm moving on. Let's just go ahead and get in and think about what happens when we subtract. Again, we're going to do the same thing. So we are going to model with place value. We are going to add or subtract. In this case, we're literally subtracting. I already told you that. And then from there, we will find our answer. So let us say, for an example problem, we have something like 1 and 38 hundredths, and we're going to take away 73 hundredths from that. Okay, so again, same thing with the models. Like this works pretty good because, again, I only have 3 place values that I need to worry about in this case. It will fluctuate, it will change, but let's see, we have our ones place. Okay. Oh, what did I do? I think I did purple for the tenths. So we see a tenths place here. And then we have our hundredths place here. Cool. All right, so let's start to model it, right? This is my graphic organizer. I'm gonna go ahead and model it. I'm gonna start in the hundreds this time. I'm gonna come over here. So I'm gonna model these 1, 2, 300ths, and then I'm gonna model these 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, wait. That's, huh. Wait a minute. That's not what I would have. Right? Wait a minute. Oh, I'm subtracting. Oh my goodness. I'm subtracting. How would me putting all my hundreds together help me subtract? Man, okay, so let's go back and review that because that's true. I wouldn't just put everything in there. So let me think again about what it means to subtract. Like, remember, when we're subtracting and we read our place values and we read numbers or number sentences, or in this case, an expression left to right, the reality is what I'm starting with. What I have is 134, and what I'm taking away is 101 and 38 hundredths. And what I'm taking away is 73 hundredths. So actually in this with subtraction, here's a really important rule. And I hope you're listening and I hope you're ready to check this. The important rule of subtraction is actually when I model, I only model the number I'm starting with. And what I'm starting with is 1 and 38 hundredths. So I'm actually going to come in here and fix that. There's my 1. I have 1, 2, 3 tenths, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hundredths. So this is the model of this number right here. Now, here's where it gets a little different, right? With the addition, it made sense. We throw everything in there, we add them up, we think about groups of 10, we move on. But with subtraction, I'm only going to start with my first number, and then I'm going to start taking away. And I'm going to start taking away in my smallest place value. So I am going to start in the hundreds place. And according to this second number, I need to take 3 of them away. So I'm going to do that. 1, 2, 3. Well, what that leaves me with is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hundredths left over. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same thing. I have 3 tenths and I'm going to take I'm going to take 7. Wait a minute. I can't. There's only 3 here. I don't know how I could cross out 7, right? That actually doesn't work. So this is that concept of regrouping, is that now that I realize I need more tenths. And where can I get tenths? I can get them from the ones place, right? If I go over here and I think about this 1, the reality is I can decompose this 1. And just like in addition, where I'm moving things from one place value to the other, I'm actually going to decompose this 1 and I'm going to turn it into 10 tenths because that's what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now I have tons of tenths. I have plenty of them, which means now when I go back and do my work of taking away 7, I can. So let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tenths. And then again, I have a decimal. Oops, I thought I went to red. There's a decimal there. And then now if I come to ones, in this case, I have to take away 0 ones. When I come over here to count, there's nothing to take away, but I actually don't even have any ones anymore because this one is gone. I turned it into tenths. So actually, there's 0 there. So there's my answer. 1 and 38 hundredths gets me 0 and 65 hundredths. Okay, so let's do one more of these super fast and then move on because I am hoping this is starting to click. So let's go ahead and dive in. So again, here we go. Let's go ahead and go with something like, let's say we have 8 and 53 hundredths, and we are going to subtract 6 and 91 hundredths. Okay, so we're going to get a little bigger here, but again, notice I only have 3 place values. So again, if you want to pause this video and go for it, do it. If you want to watch along as we go, that's fine, but hopefully if you're pausing, you are already paused. All right, so let's think about this. We have our ones place. Love it. We have our tenths place. Love it, because it's the decimal world. So let me actually put that decimal right there to remember. I thought that was a good idea. Some of you have talked about that with your charts. And then, oh, no, let's go blue. And then we have our hundredths place. Now, remember, with subtraction, what's different is I'm just not going to put everything together. I'm going to model just my first number. So I have 8 ones. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I tend to try to make them in equal rows and columns because for me they're easier to count, but it's whatever you're into. And then we come over to the tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we go to our hundredths where we end up with 1, 2. What? I picked blue. I promise I did. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so that's just this number here. Now, my next job is I'm going to come into the hundredths and I need to take one away. Well, I can do that because there was three of them and now I have two left over. I'm going to come into the tenths place and I got to take nine away. That I cannot do, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these ones and I'm going to decompose it and I'm going to move it over here and make it 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now I have a ton of tenths. I don't know why I keep saying a ton. It really isn't. Ton is a measurement of weight. This has nothing to do with that. So misuse of vocabulary for sure. But now looking at this, right? Looking right here, I can take nine away. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And that leaves me with, and this gets tricky sometimes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in my tenths place. Okay. My decimal is going to come straight down here. And now I'm going to go to my ones place. And according to this, I need to take 6 away. Looks like I can definitely do that. 1, right? I'm not taking this one away. That one's already gone. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's leaving me with one whole. And there's my answer. We have it. Look at this. 1 and 62 hundredths. So that is the work that we are going to do today. It is all about the modeling. Model, model, model. Do the model. Make sense of it. It helps you think about how to regroup in tens. It thinks of how to decompose and get tenths or hundredths or ones from things. And as always, keep up the good work and we will catch you next time.